I haven't been on here in a while. I know that. But just life has happened for sure. This has been a very trialing year, to say the very least, and I'm adjusting my camera because, that's what I do. So yeah, it's just been a really trialing year, and so I wanted to get on here and I wanted to just share. I have notes, obviously, because I go off into oblivion with my thoughts. But I just wanted to get on here and just share my life, what's going on, even though I don't have to. And sometimes I feel like I shouldn't. But maybe it can help somebody. And I think that's just what I've tried to be about since becoming the change, right? I've just been trying to change my life as I see best fit for myself, for the world, what I think people should be doing. That's why I started this stuff in the first place. And, to be honest, there was a little bit of anger within that starting of these things. But I think that can be a huge motivator, a huge driver, right? So I wouldn't necessarily say that's a bad thing. It's just part of life. There's emotions that come with life, and we got to learn how to manage those emotions, because that's what we're all trying to do, and that's what we're trying to teach our children to do, and our thoughts and our life, and just everything. We're just learning. We're growing in wisdom. And I would say that this year, life has truly started growing me in more wisdom. I feel like I've gained some wisdom over the last years, but this year has been very, very trying for myself, probably mostly. But there's some things here for my husband now, I feel like, and I'm not even going to get into that. But I do just want to start with, actually, I'm going to go back to, the COVID, that little year there, where I would say my perception really started to shift again. And I'm trying to remember, maybe this is year 2 of going to the new church that we've been going to. I can't remember exactly when that was. It was just after that. So, the vid started, and then we started going to a different church, and I'll kind of get into that here. But so I'm going back to the vid, the CO vid time in this video, because I feel like it's relevant. So I had started Boudica Fitness a while ago. I'm trying to remember when I started that. I don't know, a few years ago. I've been training for a while. I've been training people for 10 years in life coaching in general. So mindset, wellness, health, fitness, been doing this for 10 years, which is crazy to think about that. I started in like 2013 with health and mindset, and a lot of things have shifted since then. So going back to the CO bid, I started having a shift of mindset. Obviously, we're all going through a shift of mindset. Everybody's waking up, right? I've been awake to this stuff for a long time, since I was like 15. I've started waking up to this stuff because my dad knew a lot of things. So when, that video of the president came on to announce this thing, I was like, oh, here it starts. It's starting. What was starting? Their ultimate agenda. I mean, it's always been going, but here it was for the public to start witnessing. Okay. So I knew that was kind of the start of this, and my perception started changing into, the thing that I'm really doing right now, the thing that I'm really focusing on, like fitness, getting fit, looking fit, and, improving women's mindset, which isn't a bad thing. Ultimately, you want to be confident. You want to be able to stand up for yourself. You don't want to be walked all over. Like, I don't think that we should be walked over. I know that a lot of women come to me because of their mindset, because they need something that they feel like they have some control over, right? They need something to focus their attention on, to drive their anger towards. But when you also do that and you're building your confidence within yourself, within being able to take care of yourself, being able to be stronger, being able to have a strong mindset, those things, you don't feel so vulnerable. You feel like you can take care of yourself. You don't need these outside things to take care of yourself. You only need you and God. But I feel like my focus at that point really started pushing into maybe the vanity aspect, and not totally, because whenever I approach a client, it is overall their well-being. But for me personally, it was very much, how fit can I get? What can I compete in now? Like, I started really putting emphasis on myself, and that wasn't the purpose. At first, when I started fitness, like the fitness aspect of training, the purpose was to make sure that I was confident and could take care of myself. That was my purpose when I started it. And then I'm like, well, I'm going to help other women feel like that. And then it just transferred into kind of competing and how much weight can I, just more. And then the COVID came, and my perception started shifting. And my perception shifted to, this doesn't really matter. What I'm doing right now doesn't really matter. Like, helping people matters, but like, what am I helping them with? Like, what is actually important here? And what's important for me and my family, right? And so I remember saying to a client, like, this just really isn't that important. This isn't important. And I actually started shifting my perspective around my training and around how I was talking to people and around what I actually meant Bodhika for, which is to unleash your inner warrior, to be able to fight, right? To be able to fight back on the things that matter, right? The things that actually matter. Oh, my baby's crying, so give me just a minute. Okay, we're back with baby, because this is what matters right here. Hi, say hi. So I really started thinking about what actually mattered. And it wasn't how much weight I could do. It wasn't how strict I could be on my diet, which I do think is important. You should definitely have a balanced diet. It wasn't any of those things I was really focusing on. The only thing that maybe I was focusing on that mattered was that I was at home with my children, and the people that I was coaching, I was being sure to address the full person, the mind, body, and soul, because that's important. And when those topics came up, I made sure to give my all, my best advice that I could possibly give, because I had initially been through a healing journey for myself, right? Like, I had to come out of a dark time. If you've been following me, I was not a good person at all. and I didn't know I wasn't like necessarily a good person. Like, I had some good intentions. Like, I always wanted to like heal people, right? So I always like was around people that needed healed, and I would always give my best advice. That's just what I do. I don't know why. It's natural for me to want to stand up for people. It's natural for me to want to be there for people, to help them, even if it's dragging me down. I've always been like that, okay? And I came to a point where like it dragged me so far down that now I was in a dark place and I was making bad decisions. Because if you don't stay on top of that, if you don't stay on top of who you hang out with And whether it is pulling you under or whether it is helping you stay above water while you're helping people like Jesus did, then it's not beneficial for you to do. So my mindset has shifted away from more of the aspect where it was focusing on me and other people too much, to a point where I felt like, look, right now something crazy is going on in the world. I need to save my friends. I need to tell them not to fall for it, right? I need to make sure my family doesn't fall for it. And I'm going to start pulling back a little bit. Okay. I'm just going to start going back into my shell a little bit, because and I didn't do that right away, right? I just knew that it was going to be time for me to withdraw a little bit. And I do that. I do that all the time. I have done that always. So what I do is I come out. I say, hey, I'm here to help whoever needs help right now. And I'm going to help for a while. I'm going to give my best advice that I can possibly give. And then when I realize that this is not beneficial for me for a while, because it has drained me, I'm going to go back into my shell, into my cocoon. And there I'm going to process everything that I've just went through and everything in my life. And I honestly suggest that everyone does this. Okay. If you're not doing this, you're probably not thinking and you're probably not growing, to be honest. And then when I come back out, I will have new things to talk about. And I feel like I'm kind of getting there. I don't feel like I'm fully healed from everything that has just happened, but I feel like I'm close. I feel like my faith is regaining. I feel like my mindset is coming back into a better and different perspective. And I'm kind of ready to start sharing that. And it will be slowly. I can already feel that there is still some emotions that want to come out right now. So it's just going to be a journey for me. And I'm trying to let you guys in as much as I can. But I'm not very good at being vulnerable. I don't like to be vulnerable. I like to be very strong. And I like to be presented as strong, okay? I don't like to share these aspects of myself, but I'm trying, okay? I'm trying to let you guys in, all right? It's just very hard. Okay, so that shift had already started at that time. I started making some mind shifts, okay? Then we started going to a different church that is very different than any churches that most of you attend, okay? It is from the, it's an Eastern Orthodox church. I think it's a Greek Orthodox, actually, is what it is. It is from more of the east side when the great split happened between the churches. This is all historic. It is supposed to be the historic church. It is very different. If you go, it is like nothing you've ever seen before. You will feel like you are in a third world country. That is exactly how I felt when I went. Today, I understand it more. I understand why there are saints within the church, what their purpose is, why we respect them. I understand the purpose of why people, and I'm going to tell you, I don't believe Catholic is the way at all, because that was one of the splits off of the church, and all denominations under that fall under the Catholic Church. We're just unaware of that, okay? But what I am going to say is I see Mary's purpose within the church, and I actually see how giving reverence to Mary is a good thing, because it shows the great purpose of the woman. And I think when we took out Mary from the church, when we did not call her the Blessed Mother, we removed how important womanhood and motherhood was from society and from the church. That's my perspective of it. I figured this out a while ago, and I haven't really shared it, but I see why that's such an important figure within the church. We don't worship her. She's just the Blessed Mother of God, okay? But it's important. There's an important point there. So that's another thing our church does recognize is they do recognize Mary a little more. You know, and there's saints painted all over our church, and it's beautiful. And the lives of the saints, their commitment to God is beautiful. Yes.
I thought.
We're not going to talk about that right now. We can talk about that after.
I thought when you said the iguana from the States, she's still scared.
Okay, I will take care of it when I'm done. Thank you.
And I'm going to tell you something else.
Yeah.
When Azra was sitting on the seat, she shook the head at me.
Okay, I will take care of it when I'm done. Okay. Anyways, the kids are more important. I mean, so when I do these videos from now on, that's another thing I'm going to talk about here shortly. I got a list here. Is the kids, okay? Because this is going to look different. My purpose is definitely different. It's just different now, and my perspective's different now, and I'll tell you why here soon. So we had just started attending a different church after, you know, the initial craziness of the COVID happened, okay? And I've been learning things. I have a more, I would say, fear around God, that he's real. Not that he wasn't real before, but he's very real. Very real to the point where our actions do matter. Like more than what you want to think. Our actions totally matter. And it's not that our actions didn't matter, and I've always said that our actions matter, but they really matter. Okay? And that's scary. That's scary that we are going to be held accountable for our actions. But I think that that's also a good thing. And I think that because we've lost that knowing of our actions we will be held accountable to at the end of our time, we've lost that in our society. And I think that that's where we are now. Okay? That's why we're seeing a lot of these things, these evil things manifest in our world. Okay? Because that's what it is. It's manifest. And until we turn back to a very moral and just way of living and actually know that there's going to be consequences at the end of our life for whatever we do here, then we are going to continue to see this hell on earth instead of the kingdom of God on earth. Okay, so that's kind of my mindset with the church right now that we are attending. I feel like well, let's go backwards just slightly. I'm going to try to nurse in without exposing myself. So anyways, we moved from Rossville to Peru. We moved very suddenly. Everything fell into line very quickly. It was like we found a house. We decided to move. We fixed the house. We made an offer. It was so fast. Within a couple weeks. And I think we moved within a few weeks. Very, very fast, okay? We got to our new house. I was still pregnant. I had settled in. Zach wanted to take a vacation. I told him no. And, we were here, okay? We were here during the winter. And then I went into labor. And by the way, I was like 2 weeks late. With this guy here. Okay. So I went into labor finally after forever of being late. And labor, I had read about it. I was like being certified to be a doula, which by the way, you don't need a certification to be a doula, just so you know. So if you have a passion for that, we need more in this area. And my doula that came with my midwife was great. But anyways, so went into labor. Labor went awesome. It was the fastest, the easiest labor I've ever had in my life, probably because I knew exactly what was going to happen compared to my other ones. This is my third, so I knew more than that, but this was my third without being at all medicated. I had a little bit of pain reliever with Evelyn, my second one, just enough to take off the edge. I still felt my contractions. They still kind of hurt. With Ezra, I had an epidural, kind of unwillingly, but I was talked into it. And so this one was without any pain medication, but I knew what I was doing, which makes a huge difference. I could feel everything. I knew when he was turning. I'm trying to do a video. What's up?
Mom, now Ezra hitting me.
Okay,
now.
well, go tell her I said have a seat. Okay. So, yes. So everything within a home birth, I mean, it couldn't have really been any better within labor. Okay, but when Justinian was born, that's when everything was bad. Okay, went downhill. This is the worst case scenario. Okay, so I knew something was wrong, and I've told the story before, but whatever. I knew something was wrong. My cord was short as well. I was definitely bleeding more than I needed to be bleeding. I knew that. I knew something was wrong. When I finally got to see the baby had poop all over him. I knew that this was bad. I was trying to judge by the face of my midwife how bad this was, but I knew that it was not good, and I knew I was bleeding too much. So the ambulance ended up being called. I'm about to pass out in the ambulance from bleeding too much. I'm like telling myself in my head, you cannot die right now because you have this baby that is not in good shape, that you need to make sure lives. You have 2 little girls that need you. Like, you can't die. Like, so I am about to pass out. I'm telling myself this in my head that, you can't die. I come out of almost passing out. I'm telling the guy, look, I might pass out. I feel like I'm going to pass out. He's asking me questions, and I'm thinking, this is the dumbest thing. Like, somebody might be dying. I feel like I'm literally going to die, and I may have very well did. And you're asking me freaking questions, dude. Is this what you do? Like, just try to calm the person down before their death? Like, that's literally what I'm, like, thinking. Especially later when I got to, like, go over all this stuff. Like, I'm thinking, okay, I can't die. I have these children. I need to make sure my baby lives. And also, why are you asking me freaking dumb questions? Is this how you comfort people before they die? So, by the way, Zach has no idea that... He has no idea. He has no idea what, like, he doesn't understand the condition that he's in. He doesn't understand that I'm, like, on my deathbed, basically, both of us. No idea. He just gets the girls and heads to the hospital. He said literally he thought that that we would get to the hospital and we would come back home, basically. Okay, so little did he know. Anyways, we were at, my placenta was partly broke off and was stuck, which was why I was having my issues. They were going to give me blood. Hey, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? I told them no, do not give me blood, because I didn't know if any of the blood had COVID in it. I don't want that. Don't give me blood. I said, hook me up to fluids right now and figure out what's going on. And they were like, oh, okay. Panicking, right? Doctor comes in, figures out what's up. Has to stick his whole freaking fist to get it out. It hurt, pretty much like delivering a baby. It was terrible. It was terrible. I was screaming. My baby's next to me getting oxygen. Which, like, now that I think about it, we're just pushing. I mean, they did what they had to do, right? I mean, but they're just pushing more of it into his lungs, really. They have no tools. This is why the medical system is just crazy, okay? It really is broken when you think about it. Like, the medical system in the Riley Hospital NICU fixed him, okay? With a little bit of push from me. Okay. But up until that point, they didn't have anything that he needed. Like, we went to the Peru hospital. They didn't have anything to suck out his lungs. They didn't know what to do. They had to call somebody from Fort Wayne. They came. Then they sucked out everything, all the poop out of his lungs. What do you need? Yeah, and be nice, please. Thank you. So then they had to take everything out of his lungs, right? And this was like 2 hours later. Okay, I don't even know how long after the birth, but at least 2 hours, like forever. And then, then we took him all the way to Fort Wayne. This is like an 1.5-hour drive. This boy right here, he's strong, okay? Because we went 1.5 hours to Fort Wayne. He was on an incubator there. I think I said that right. Pretty sure I said that right, but who knows? What is wrong with you? Yeah, we're talking to a camera, but people will watch it, so it's not super weird, right? So, do you want down? You want to try to get down? No, that made it worse. Okay, so we went to Fort Wayne. They couldn't do anything for him there. I mean, he literally was just on a back. Basically putting air into his lungs, just trying to keep him alive. And then finally my husband made the call, like, okay, you guys aren't doing anything for him here. You're basically guessing. And so we gotta, let's take him to Riley. So it was snowing. They couldn't get the plane to come out, which he definitely needed. They got him into an ambulance. Finally, took forever. I mean, they were driving through the snow and he's like, on his deathbed, basically. So they take him in the ambulance. I can't be in the ambulance with him. Dad can't be in the ambulance with him. This is totally against my nature to let him be alone with anybody because I don't know what they're gonna do, I just said, keep him alive. Okay, let's go, Oh no. Oh no. Keep him alive. So they came in, they got all the information, they switched him out onto a different thing, vac, whatever, something to keep him alive. Basically, we got to Riley. The doctors came in, essentially told us that, he may not make it. He's very sick. We literally thought he was going to die. I was in my head debating whether I should even continue to pump milk. I mean, what was the point? Like, I'm about to lose my kid. Like, that was my brain. Like, he's going to die. I'm bawling. Like, it was terrible. Like, I literally thought this little dude right here was gone. But look at him. We thought he was gone. And it also in my head, I'm like, no, this is really bad, but we have options here. We're not going to give up until we figure out what happens, right? So I continued to have hope and faith, and I pumped milk, and I cried a lot, and then we were in the NICU. I couldn't see my other girls, which was super duper hard because I'm literally with them all the time. And Zach stayed with me, so they didn't see either of us for a while, except for when they started visiting after a week or two. But he, had to go to different ventilators. He was on he was on like a drug basically to keep him asleep, like not really moving. Basically, then he was on painkillers. I mean, he was on a lot of stuff that I would have never wanted him to be on. So this was like, what? You need a toy, don't you? This was a very humbling experience. So yeah, if you ever want to get humbled, because before this, by the way, before any of that happened, I was doing essentially a birth where I had like I didn't want to go to the doctor at all, really. But because there was just too much stuff going on with the COVID stuff and the mask and all that crap, okay? I just didn't want to be around it. And I don't really see the purpose, unless you feel like you're going to have problems or you have health problems, to go to a doctor as much as they have you go to a doctor for pregnancy. And I don't think it's necessary, okay? And I still don't think it's necessary unless you feel like you have issues and you need to go, okay? So I was like all about the free birth, all about wild birth, if you've ever looked into any of that. And I am still, but I see so clearly that sometimes stuff is going to happen. There's things that are going to happen. Like, it's just life, man. And you will get humbled. And I feel like I was very prideful about what I was doing. And maybe that's why this happened. Maybe not. I don't know why it happened. I'm just glad that he's here. And I'm glad that I can talk about this story now and like be grateful. And like, I feel a little bit like my postpartum, you know, that after the birth and you get to be with your baby. I felt like those moments were stolen from me still. Like, that sucks, you know? It sucks not to just like have your baby and feel like, wow, like my baby is like beautiful, which is what I thought with the girls. And we did it, you know, and I get to snuggle with my baby and I get to immediately breastfeed and like all those things. I feel like those moments were taken from me, obviously. And that still sucks. Like, that sucks. Like, and my girls couldn't be with us right away. Like, I had this whole like picture in my mind about what this was going to look like after he was born. Like, we're going to chill on the couch. Like it was just going to be great. Okay. And then it wasn't great. And that sucks. And that sucked. And it still sucks. But I'm just happy that we have our son and we're back with our family. Like, that's really what matters at the end of the day. And I feel like this is another thing where my perception has been flipped, okay? So I was already thinking that family is more important, okay? And already leaning in that direction and already kind of refiguring how I'm doing things, okay? And then this happens. And then families and kids, or children, that's the word I like to use now because it means more. Children are even more precious, right? Like, I guess if I wouldn't have seen this, not that, I don't know why it happened. If I wouldn't have seen that happen, maybe it just wouldn't be as precious as it is now. Like, I just see the lives of my children so much more valuable. And not that they weren't before, but it's just like more so. Like, they matter even more so than they mattered. Even though they mattered a lot, they even more so matter, right? Family matters even more so. Like, that's what's the most important. That is what's important, is your family. Like, yeah, other people matter for 100%. Like, other people matter. But at the end of the day, those other people aren't going to be behind you like your family is going to be behind you. They're not. This is our family, right? And we want other people to appreciate and grasp the value of your family. Like, that's what matters here, our lives here. And if we all get our family right, honestly, at the end of the day, our whole world will be shifted completely. Like, the kingdom of God is here when we have our kingdoms and our household correctly. Like, when they are in order, when they are loved. If you start at home, okay? And then the kingdom of God will prevail, okay? So it even more so matters. So maybe that happened to grow my faith, to give me more meaning around my family. I don't know exactly. I mean, I'm sure eventually I'll figure it out. But I'm starting to see little pieces. And I finally feel like I'm kind of healing from it because of it. I'm not gonna lie, sitting in a freaking NICU, not being able to see my other kids, watching screens, hearing beeping, it will drive me freaking mad. I literally thought I was in hell for one, okay? I thought I was in an altered reality, because I kind of was. I mean, really, like, not getting any sleep. I'm not, like, this is insane. Like, it's a whole nother world. And I felt like I was in a whole nother world. I felt like, am I ever going to get out of here? Am I ever going to go back home? Am I ever going to have my kids back? Is my son going to live? Like, every single day. And then I would have nurses telling me different things. And whoo, let me tell you, it is not fun being in a NICU, okay? When your son's dying and your kids are away from you, you don't know what's going on, and you like to hover and know that they're okay and that they're being taught good things, and your husband's not going to work, and just freaking chaos, let me tell you, okay? And my faith being as small as literally a freaking mustard seed. Like, that's as little, because I had no more faith than that, okay? So it was crazy. And so then when we got home, I'm trying to heal mentally, physically. Physically, I'm still not right. Like, anytime I do any kind of, that's another humbling experience, by the way. Want to get humbled, God will give it to you. Like I said a minute ago. Anytime I try to lift heavy, and anytime I really just do too much exertion, my pelvic floor is not right. It's not. And I don't know if it will be, to be honest, because I've done some exercises. I feel like I'm trying to keep, the core tight. It's gotten better, but it's still not great. Okay, so I can't lift like I like to lift. Can't do it. Not gonna happen. And even if I do upper body stuff, if I it still messes it up. It's just not as bad. But I have this old injury that occasionally it'll like shoot pain up here, and then I'll have a migraine. Okay, so heavy lifting's fun, but if you don't have a purpose for extreme heavy lifting, there are consequences to what you do to your body. Okay, so there is a whole little bit of other world there. Is it healthy to do extreme lifting? Maybe not. Do I like it? Yeah. But maybe there should be a little balance. Maybe you should do more volume with lower weight. Maybe. Yeah.
I have some yogurt.
No, you already had yogurt earlier. You're gonna wait for a little bit. Okay. So, intrusive thoughts, like, how to conquer your mind in Boudica? Conquer your mind, right? I'm back to that. I am almost have my mind conquered again. But the mindset really, like the NICU thing, just dragged me way under again, okay? Underwater. I was trying to swim out. I'm finally coming above water. I'm not walking on water again yet. I don't have the faith of walking on water yet. I'm close, okay? But intrusive thoughts, like, do I know how to get out of intrusive thoughts? Yeah. And I do it daily, and they come back, okay? And my dreams are horrid. So the water's here. I'm breathing. I'm breathing. I'm better. I have days where I have it. I have days where I really don't. Okay, so that's where I'm at. So mental health coaching for me right now, I can do it, but I don't really want to much at the moment, okay? I just want to get this. It's close. It's almost there. There's a few things I need to tweak, and I'm working on it. Like I said, have the good days, have the bad days. So I'm working on my mindset again. I'm working on reconquering the mind. That's where a new perspective is going to come in. It always does. It always does. I've been here before, which is great because I know how to get out of it quicker. Most people might be in this depression, intrusive thoughts state forever, like for a long time. Okay, he's 6 months old. He's almost 7 months old now. Can you put him down? He doesn't like that. He's almost 7 months old now. He was in the NICU. I don't remember how many weeks, to be honest. Like, I'm okay with that. Old memory just goes away, which I'm sure it won't. But if it does, cool. But we were in there for a while. All right. So I feel like I'm overcoming this very quickly, which is great. Because I don't want to be, I like my very calm Zen mindset that's very confident, knows what to do, knows how to give people advice, knows how to lead the way. That's the mindset I like. That's what I'm working towards again. Learning to reconquer the mind. Okay, so my fitness is definitely different, which kind of sucks, but it doesn't at the same time. I'm back to doing more jogging and walking, which I like to do. Definitely clears my head. I like it, especially if it's peaceful. It's a little bit harder with kids, but you know how that rolls. Kids are more important anyways. I do some videos off YouTube. I like to do the kickboxing. I like to do kettlebell stuff. I've been doing kettlebell stuff. It tends to be enough where I get work, but I'm not having pelvic floor issues most of the time. Occasionally I'm throwing in some squat sessions, sometimes some overhead press, and then I'm gonna have to take the next day off, like, because I'll have hemorrhoids and whatever else the Lord gives me. Diet. Diet's not on point. I mean, not on point to my other standards, okay? My excuse is I'm practicing for Thanksgiving because I'm hosting, which I am because I really do suck at making pasta, which I don't suck at anymore. I suck at baking, which I don't necessarily suck on anymore. So I am practicing. Honestly, I don't know if it's just because I'm still breastfeeding and I'm being very active still, and I've been gardening and canning and making, I'm on my feet all the time for the most part. Like, I got under my pregnancy weight pretty quick. I don't feel like, I'm not like fat. I have a little bit of definition still going on. So the diet's not killing me on my goals of staying fit. And it's a lot more like lax, but I know that I don't really I need to chill out on the sugar a little bit. I'm going to tell you, this is a common pattern for me. And I've told people that have been my clients before, like, sugar, no willpower around sugar. If I have sugar in the house, I will make treats. If I have flour in the house, most likely I'm going to make something with it. Flour and sugar, no willpower. And I bet a lot of people, I know a lot of people don't have willpower around it. So I'm trying, I'm eating a lot more breads, focusing on sourdough oriented. I'm making everything from scratch. I'm definitely eating more desserts than I've done a long time. This is a common pattern for me. If I have this stuff, I'm going to use it. I know my weakness. I'm failing on my weakness when it comes to diet. For now, I've been rethinking about what I kind of want to do after the holiday season. I'm probably going to strict it back up again like I normally do. That's fine. Meat oriented. Always meat oriented. And it's still to that. It's still like that now. I'm just adding more things. I'm okay with it for now. It's not affecting, I don't think it's affecting my mindset. Maybe it is. My emotions, they're fine. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Ask my husband. I have no idea. It's serving me for now. Let's just say that. I've come to enjoy the cooking a little more, which I think is a good thing. And by the way, on my health journey, I was serving food. That was the first thing I started doing. And I was a waitress before that. So food is like, it's a weird aspect for me. It's always been a weird aspect for me. And I think I'm just trying to find a little bit of balance and know what's more healthy and just try to find a little more balance, which I think is actually going to help with my clientele too. There are definitely times to be carnivore. There are definitely times to be keto. There are things you have to heal from, and diet is definitely the answer. I think mindset is the top tier though. Spirituality with mindset, I think there's blessing in that. And I'm trying to figure this out. There's a key here. I'm trying to, and speaking of key, this just came to mind. This house that I'm in right now has a key that I'm very fond of and unlocks pretty much all these doors in this house minus one, okay, which was the addition. But the actual house has the key from Alice in Wonderland, which is my ultimate favorite movie ever. So I'm all about patterns and signs and stuff, which scares me sometimes because I can see things. Okay. But the key. I don't know what it is about this time in my life and why I'm here or whatever. And I won't know until things happen. Okay. Until hindsight. Okay. Hindsight's 2020. Okay. But there's something about where I'm at right now. And then it'll shift. And I just think that it's very interesting that I have the key to the favorite movie, which is all about Wonderland. And then the girl defeats the Jabberwocker. She defeats the evil. And the saint, one of the saints that I'm very drawn to right now, well, there's three saints I'm really drawn to. First one is my patron saint is Hermione. That was the Christian name that I took when I got officially baptized into the church. Okay. Hermione is a healer. She started the first Christian hospital. Tell me that's not weird and interesting. Okay. So that's my patron saint. I also like Saint Emma, which I have a picture of her up there, but she is a saint that raised 7 saint children. Okay. And then this one I'm drawn to. And his name just left me. I'm trying to remember. Maybe I'll remember. You can look him up. But he killed the dragon. Or maybe, in my case, like Alice killed the Jabberwocky. Faith over fear. And they know who they are. I don't know particularly St. George. I don't know particularly the rest of his story. I just know that he killed the dragon that was killing children, actually, I'm pretty sure, within the town. And other people, I think. But I think it was mostly children. So that's interesting. Okay. So, anyways, he killed this. And Alice killed the Jabberwocky, and she realized who she really was in her purpose in life. I don't know. You tell me. What do you think? Put it in the comments. You tell me. Maybe I'm just crazy, right? So I'm starting to feel better. I am starting to feel better. I'm starting to heal. I'm starting to be able to tell the story without crying. Things are shifting finally, I think. I have goals on what I want my mindset to be, how I want to be acting, right? Because you need to know the person that you want to be and then form to that. You have, like, that's the only way to do it. If you don't know where you want to go, you can't get there. Okay? I know that I want to be more zen again. Like, chill out. Chill. Which I have been. That's why I've just been, like, cooking and just chill. Like, chill. Taking more walks. Chill. Trying to talk better to my children. Because if I'm high anxiety and I'm high stress, and we all do this, we nitpick and we have to have control over everything, and I don't want to be like that at all. I don't want to yell, and I fail every freaking day, and I don't want to be like that. And there was a time where I was not like that. People could literally yell at me. No joke. They could be so upset with me, which I'm telling you right now, I hate when people are upset with me. But at this time, it was like nothing could affect me. I had compassion for the person, but I understood that it wasn't about me. It was just something about them that they needed to go through, and I was just there, like, I was their wall. Okay? Interesting. I just had a thought. So I'll tell you my thought. I had a dream last night about a high school enemy. A girl I just really did not, but this is just interesting that I just thought about this. At one point, I had confronted her and told her I was sorry, even though, like, what I did, I feel like it's still justified, but I told her I was sorry because I just did, forgive, and then you will be forgiven. Okay. I told her I was sorry, and she just, like a wall, she didn't even respond. Just find that interesting that I just had that dream and just told you about this and remembered that. So, see how my brain works? Patterns. So, side note, by the way. So things are changing with my mindset, and everything, and parental challenges I'm trying to overcome. Just trying to get back into a state where I have full control of myself, like with God's help, obviously, but I have full control on how I'm feeling, how I'm reacting, how I'm responding, what I'm thinking about. I'm regaining control of my mind. Okay, conquering the mind. That's where I'm at right now, and I'm getting there. I'm almost there. The body, I'm just going to have to continue to heal and do what I can. But I feel like, and maybe this is it, I'm starting to figure out the spiritual parental goal, right? Embrace spiritual motherhood. I think that's what I'm working on. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm working on. I don't know how this is going to turn out yet, obviously. But I do think that third line, the soul, spiritual motherhood, that's what I'm working on. And that's what you guys are just kind of seeing. Like, I'm just trying to revamp what I am doing. Like, something's got to shift here. And I want it to be a good shift. Oh my goodness. He's getting so mad. He's getting so mad. The chunk.
I'm going to show you something.
By the way, he is like, he's being a little whiny on here. I think he just needs my attention. But he's usually, oh, really good, bye-bye. He's so happy usually. He's just being a little chunky monster right now. So yeah, I probably need to get off here because I've been on here for a minute. But I wanted to give you an update and kind of like what I'm thinking. I am taking clients for Boudica Fitness. And it's always personalized. So whatever your goals are my goals to help you get there, right? That's always how it's been. If you need mental health coaching, it depends on what it's going to be, if I can help you right now. But I'm here, and I'm here to do a quick chat. What?
Look at this.
Yeah. I'm here to do a quick chat if need be, and see if I can help you like immediately, or we can talk about it and see where we're at. Is that funny? Yeah. Okay. So I gotta get off here. And then spirituality. I would love to talk about that. If anybody wants to talk about spirituality, I'm all ears. Like, there's more truth out there. There's more truth out there than we how do I say this? The churches that most of us are attending are not within the full truth. I'm still trying to decide, I suppose, my own, because, okay, just a really, really quick backstory. I'm trying to adjust this camera. Just a really quick backstory, but my family is very, I don't know. They just don't believe, they don't really believe you have to go to church, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. They believe in God, but it's just different. So that's how I was raised. And I do believe that you definitely can control a little bit on where you are going within your life. Well, you can. I mean, you have free will. So I think there's a combo here, and I'm trying to piece the pieces together. And I think I'm starting to figure it out a little bit. But I came from that background, and then I got very new agey, and then now I'm in this church, which I have to relearn. Like, I'm learning. That's really what it comes down to. I'm learning, and I'm seeing the fruits of some of it, and then I'm also seeing some things where I'm like, okay, well, why did they do things like this? And I'm just learning, okay? And my husband knows a lot more because he literally will just study this stuff like crazy. That's his interest. So he's been teaching me a lot of this stuff too. And I'm just trying to figure out where I fall within this. My place with it. How I feel about it. What I think about it. Because even though I do let my husband be the leader of the house as well, I mean, he should be. And he is. I have my own brain. to say it in the nicest way possible, I have my own brain, and I like to use my own brain. So I'm going to do that. And I'm supposed to be his helper, to think about things, to do things. I am his helper. God made me to be his helper, and that's cool. Helper has their own brain too. Okay, so I'm just trying to figure out my experiences, where this is going, what I think about it. That's where I'm at. So spirituality, if you want to do any spiritual, talks, counseling, I do believe that blessed water is great. And our priests bless water. I do believe that the tools that they use within the church are great, and they do a lot of shifting for you. For instance, at the end of church, and this was really, really hard for me at first, is when you go to the end of church, you go up to the priest and you kiss the cross that he's holding. When I first went, I'm like, no, nah. But now that I've been going, it really takes down your pride of self, which I think can be a very humbling experience. And I know it is, because that's what the NICU did as well. So you should never think that you alone are doing things. It's always you and God. So pride around just self is bad. And I think that that's why they have you kiss the cross, because you're taking away that pride of self, your stance. Like I have authority, or I have dominion over you. No, we don't have dominion over anyone. Like, and that's the purpose. So they also believe that like that marriage is a sacrament because it helps humble you. It helps serve one another, and that service changes you. It's a different mindset. So marriage is a sacrament there. So there's just a lot of different things that go on in this church. So if you want to talk about that, if you want to kind of like do a little bit of counsel on that, that's cool, free of charge. We can just talk about that. And if you want to go into any like mental health coaching or fitness coaching or anything outside of that, then we can talk about that. But, you know, because I'm learning so much, it would just be more productive to just have a conversation. And then when I, you know, feel good about it, then maybe I'll counsel people on it. But so my sole mission right now is, for one, my home. And for two is to help anyone that needs some wellness healing right now. So a little bit of mindset. Definitely fitness. Like, I still want to program for people. I like to do that. It's fine. I like to help women get stronger and build up their confidence. And it does change a lot of emotional things for women. I think for the better. Diet coaching, definitely helping through that. I've been through all of them. Every single one. Vegetarian, vegan, raw, carnivore, keto, all of it. And now just working on some balance. I don't know how long I'll be there, because I kind of like a stricter diet, because I find benefit in that. But yeah, that's all. So I will see you guys later. That was my update. And if you have any questions, reach out. See ya.